Wow, I think the live ended when Zoe exited the chat. Y'all come on back in. That was weird. Sorry about that one. Share the live. It looks like it didn't. Y'all, I think that happened when Zoe exited. I'm not sure what happened just then, but y'all gotta forgive me for that one.
I think that happened when Zoe exited.
Mm. Just share the live stream, y'all. Go ahead and share it. I don't know what happened. I think when Zoe exited, it ended the stream. Interesting. That was weird. Never seen that happen before. But nevertheless, go ahead and share. Go ahead and hit the share button. Wow, that I didn't expect that to happen. I'm sitting there just to talking, me and Toronto rolling. And I'm like, wait a minute. Everybody's saying Ken. I'm like, TD, I think the damn live done ended. That is very, very, very unusual. We had about 550 in the room. Get the numbers back up. Let's get it back rolling. We rolling, man. 2 videos in one night. So let's start over. Everybody that donated, send it again. Waiting on Toronto to come back up, and we gonna get back to rolling. I have absolutely no clue what just happened, but it's a technology. Sometimes something happens. I didn't do it. I didn't hit end. I think what happened was when Zoe exited. I think because Zoe has control over this as well. I think some kind of way it ended the stream. So said Willie Simmons did it. It was self-inflicted. That was a self-inflicted mistake. Oh, y'all share it. Y'all go ahead and share it. Make sure y'all share, man. Go ahead and share. Go ahead and hit that share. Share them stream. Tell them we back rocking and rolling, man. Let's get them numbers back up. Hit the like button as you're coming back in. That sucks, man. We was rolling too. Man, that sucks. So if y'all want to go back to the so here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna drop the link in the old video so we can get everybody back in here. My goodness, that was a cluster of a mistake. Copy the link. Let me go back into this old joint. My goodness, man. What in the entire world just happened? All right, so if you're in the old stream, you can just look in the comment section of that video, and then you can just hit the link. That ought to bring you straight over. Just click the link, and hopefully they'll pop back on. And we back, bro. I think when Zoe left, I think the stream ended.
We just would talk.
That's what I told him. We were rolling, bro. We were rolling, man.
It's good, man.
It's all good though, man. So we back on. We lost about 300 good people though. We'll get them back. Let y'all just let everybody know we back on. Share the stream, share the stream, share the stream. Hit the like button, share. Y'all know what to do. Tell them we back rocking and rolling, man. Sorry for the self-inflicted wounds over here.
Right.
Yes, indeed. But what were you saying, bro? Let's get back into it. We all good.
Yeah, man. I was saying that I watched the whole video with Coach Simmons, Jeff Likely. You know, he did a good job, man.
Yeah, he always do a good job.
Hey, man. Hey, Jeff good at sneak jabbing too, man.
Man, Jeff is a journalist, bro. Like he know how to poke the bear, man, or should I say poke the snake? Hey,
right.
Bro, keep talking, bro. I'm gonna grab me a little something to drink, out.
Yeah, go ahead, man. I'm
gonna turn this camera on. Keep talking.
In that video, man, one of the things that I got from it.
Hey, Blue, it was self-inflicted.
Right. Right. Yeah, man. Like
man,
you said,
I'm trying to tell you, I'm almost positive that it ended when Zoe left out. That's when if I could recall, because I didn't even go up there. I didn't touch anything.
Yeah, man. It just. Okay, man. I'll listen to what Coach Simmons said. Again, it was a very good interview, but you know, looking at it as a whole, when he did, no disrespect to JSU or anything like that, he started saying that everything that was done was because of his team made that mistake. I mean, true enough, his team made a mistake, but they had help.
I'm trying to tell you, it wasn't like they was out there playing against themselves.
Right. I mean, but hey, he was shouting out all the different ways Jackson State scored on them, and
a whole lot of ways. We should have been 70-0. Matter of fact, what was self-inflicted was the 3 points, because we shouldn't have gave up the 3. That came on a penalty.
Right.
Brother George, it ain't nothing. It ain't like that. It was just we moving on from that. It was just it wasn't me. I didn't do anything. I wasn't even touching the thing. So it's all good, but it is what it is. We move right along.
Man, so he taking the prime approach right now, man. He building that thing up. He building it up. He said it wasn't that Jackson State did, really. It was all that his team did. He got new players. He got most of his players back. All his Power 5 offers players, they coming back.
Okay.
So
that means they should win then, right?
Yeah, man. Yeah, that's basically what he was saying.
That's what he's saying. They should win. Now you lose. Now what the excuse gonna be this time?
Right. I mean, you say his running game wasn't that good. So Musa didn't really have any help. So he got some help in that area now. So
well, why wasn't his running game very good against Jackson State?
They still went 9-2. So some
they were playing. Were they playing? Let me ask you a question. Were they playing 11 on air, or what were they playing? The Air Tigers. I'm just trying to say it, bro. That defense was, man. We destroyed them folks, man.
Right. And it should be.
I want to beat I want to bust the clock on these boys, man. I really do. I really can't wait to beat FAMU again. So we can really everything that he said. I just want him to know he gave us the greatest sound bites that we could ever get. We can go pull all that stuff out the internet. So
I mean, he went far to say he in the area where the better talent is, and if players decide they want to leave Power 5 schools in the area, they can come back home. Oh man, he said
that's true.
So he ready.
FAMU has done. Truth be told, they have done a really good job of recruiting this time around. I'm actually going to share this. I'm going to share this on Twitter and let everybody.
Hey, you can't claim the title until you come and take the title. It's good that you got confidence in your team, though, man. but we out of we out of champs until everything Coach Simmons was saying come to fruition, which we don't believe. Also, man, I heard you saying, I heard you make a statement about, hey, man, hey, I love this channel, man. I love you guys too. I heard you make that statement, bro. Yeah, I was, man. Every time I'm at the gym, man, I put somebody on to the, I put a subscriber on today, man. So it's like
Man,
this.
45. We literally 45 subs away from what is this dude trying to protect this dude for? Everybody talking about this YK Osiris dude. Let me tell you something, man. That dude is an idiot, by the way. I ain't gonna go down that road just yet, but nevertheless, keep going, bro. All right, what I was just doing was I had to go and share the stream. So y'all share. Let's get them numbers back up. We only have the way. All right. Anyway, I hate that happened because many of them probably won't come back on. We don't know, but we gonna keep it moving though. The live stream. Hey, the chat is open. Feel free to come on up. Brother Seeley, I know we was in the middle of a conversation. I know Brother GA asked some questions on Monday, especially in regards to Juneteenth. We was talking about Mound Bayou. We was talking about a bunch of things, man. Love to get that conversation back rolling. And for anyone that want to touch on anything in relation to what we discussed on the earlier live stream, and we'll go from there. Again, we're rocking and rolling with our fundraiser. We are. Let's see if I can give everybody a tally as to where we are. Let me see what came through since we've been on the stream. Pulled in a good amount. Pulled in close to a G.
Yeah, Malcolm, I heard that. What does that mean?
What does what mean?
That I love have a rabid bass fan.
I don't know what any of that mean, man. Ain't nobody touching us when it comes to the fan base. They know that whatever word they want to use, yeah, it will be. That's gonna be fun, Blue. It's gonna be real fun, actually. Because I think before the game, everybody's gonna watch us play South Carolina State, and then you're gonna see all the narratives. I think they're gonna have us as underdogs. It just depends on how big of an underdog we're gonna be. So,
either or work for me. Cause we're gonna be ready to play.
Yeah, we will be. Without question, we'll be ready to play. And they will be too. I think they come in with this is their Super Bowl. They come in with the motivation of knowing that if we don't beat Jackson State, we have no chance of getting to the Celebration Bowl. I think that's the message that they're gonna have. They got to send that message because in their mind, we blocked them from getting there. In actuality, we just won. But
I mean, you know what? They didn't just start feeling that way. Remember, we was in New Orleans at HBCU Legacy Bowl. When we walked around the corner getting ready to go in, that was one of the fans said to us, "So Dion on now, so now it's our turn."
I'm glad they feel that way. What they did,
Yeah,
I'm glad they feel that way. So when it don't happen, then what?
We understand you guys.
Yeah, you got no choice, man. But again, it would have sounded a lot nicer if you'd have just said, "Hey, man, Jack State whooped our butt last year, and we coming to whoop theirs this year." I would have respected that a whole lot more than everything that they did. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't Jack State; it was us.
You see what EA said?
Oh yeah, I understand what them.
Yeah,
I got it. He said, "Beat their chest in." You got that right. That's true. We were beating them prior to Deion Sanders, and we're gonna beat them post Deion. So that's without question.
So yeah, man. As I was saying, yeah, man. I always support the channel, man. I probably get a subscriber 3 every other day. You know, why do something? Why go do something you gonna have do it? You know, if you're gonna do it, be all the way.
Absolutely, man. And I appreciate it, bro. It's definitely greatly appreciated. We sitting at 45 subs away from the 5K. And I mean, we cooking, man. We almost there. That's a big number. We got some big time players in this HBC. I mean, in this YouTube space, there's big numbers and doing their thing. Oh, we got brother C Lee on this thing, man. About to get on and popping. Share the stream. What's up, bro?
What's up? How y'all doing, man? Y'all good?
We good, man. We back up and rolling. We got 300 to show back up, so we good. We was almost up to 600, and then something happened.
Yeah, and I wonder, how many of them haters jump for joy thinking that maybe they just off the YouTube for good.
No, they did a mass search.
And just like what's gonna happen next year, they're gonna be royally disappointed. That's the great Mark Twain quote: "Reports of my demise have been greatly exaggerated."
Hey, they tried that. They tried that with Ken once before, a few months ago. Man, they snatched everything away, buddy. But Ken hung in that thing and fought. So, okay, it's another way to do this.
Man, I was talking to the brother that I was telling you about the lift brother that I met, and wait a minute, we got some solid donations to come through this evening. I'm gonna count these up. Y'all go ahead because I want to give y'all an update. We're doing pretty good tonight. That's pretty solid. Go ahead.
So brother C Lee.
Yes, sir. Right.
So I've been meaning to share a file with you, man, but it's too large. So what happened? I continue to run after you got through speaking. So he kind of got everything together. So the file, and I want to share that with you just so you can see it. But I want to take your portion out and give it to you so you can do it to your page and then other sections and then put it together and let you do with it as you will. It turned out very, very good. Very clear. You had my brain processing. You remember old school in the grocery stores? They used to scan stuff, and then they get through scanning and the machine still be talking. That's how it was when you was reading your poem, man. I was like, brother C Lee. Okay, he said this, and then a minute of the process. But man, that was really good. It was on point. I love the way the way you spoke, the way you said it. It was very touching and moving. And then you got your little peck on the cheek. We ain't gonna talk about that.
Yeah.
TMI, bro. You putting
No.
I messed
it was a joke, man.
Yeah, it was from Miss Evers and from her daughter Rena. What people don't know is my wife is really close with Miss Merle and with Rena. Because of the work that my wife does around redistricting and that kind of work. And so that poem that I read was actually commissioned by Rena 10 years ago for the 50 year. And she asked me to commission it when we did the 50-year commemoration. And so here we are again at the 60 year. And she said, she just asked would I read it again. I said, of course I would definitely do it. And so I appreciate everything you said, Brother TD. And when I read it Monday, and when I went to go sit down and I got the hugs from them, and if you remember, she got up and she gave for me the best reward for me is when she said, "You got my father's entire history in that poem." And that's what I was trying to do, because a lot of people don't know or probably didn't catch. The first line in the poem is, and I don't, it's funny because I don't really remember my poems because I always write to be published, not to and it's also hearing you say that people always look at me crazy when I say I actually like publishing more than I like presenting. Like I like, if you give me a choice between do I want somebody to read my stuff versus me reading it or presenting it orally for people, I will choose people reading my work in a magazine 3 times over 1 every time. But when you have something, a special event like this, so the first 2 lines in that poem, if I can remember them, is a purple and gold brave beating the medicine drum of justice. That's a nod to the fact that Meg Evers went to Alcorn. Yeah. And so essentially that whole poem begins with his enrollment in Alcorn. And there's a line where I talk about Meg Evers, one of his first jobs after Alcorn was selling insurance. But what he was actually doing was using his insurance route to register people to vote or get people interested to register to vote. And so that's one of those things that as we talk about the genius of our people, right? That kind of what you guys are doing, right? You have a job, but then you allowing the fruits of your job to galvanize your Jackson State family. In the same way that Megan was using his job as an insurance salesman to galvanize his Black community to get involved in the movement. And so, yeah, so when Rena said, I appreciate you putting my father's entire life in that poem, that to me was the best. And I don't know if you've seen much of it, but I got to see some of TD's footage before I left. And I mean, it's fire on. And Rob J also, he stopped me because Rob J left. And what he did was he took some footage of the poem and interspersed it with some actual footage from Mega during the 60s. And so they ran the poem. Yeah, so they ran my piece of the poem, I want to say at the end of, what is it called? Metro Morning that comes on JSU TV. Yeah. And I guess it had to be Metro Afternoon since we didn't get finished till right around 11:30. So I mean, Rob sent it to me, sent what he did with just a piece and the Mega. So I'm looking at that, and then whatever you do, TD, and then having both of those, because I actually got to send the newsletter early. So I'm going to send the newsletter tomorrow rather than Friday, because I got an event Friday. I got it. Well, leading right this, I actually got a Juneteenth event Friday, and it's going to be on State Street. In fact, I was gonna put the information in the chat for Ken, so he can put it up there. But yeah, so I have a Juneteenth panel at 11 o'clock Friday morning on State Street. And it's gonna be some dynamic folk represented. It's gonna be some Tougaloo folk. It's gonna be some Jackson State folk, and we just gonna talk about the business and the history of Juneteenth. But so that's why I'm gonna send the newsletter out early. So whenever you get down, whatever you want to get, then I'll also put that in the newsletter and send that up. And one thing do you have a Dropbox account, Brother TD?
No, I do not.
I do.
Okay.
So I do for Casey, and then I have to add him to it. So
yeah, I was gonna say when Ken adds you to that the Dropbox account, you can upload it to that and then send me the link. Okay. Yeah, because anything that's for me that's too big, and look here, Ken professional, so he got the real one. I got the free one. So the free one I got.
The free ain't gonna get you no.
I got the free one, so I can upload the business with. I can upload 20 and 30-minute videos. I can't upload no hour videos. So I always tell people, you start with that. I'm like that, even like I got the free Zoom. So I tell people we can chat on Zoom, but it's gonna be 45 minutes. In fact, it's gonna be 44 minutes and 59 seconds, and then that chat is gone. Because Zoom don't be playing with that free. So so once Ken asks you to that, you can upload it to the Dropbox and then hit me with the hit me with the link, and then I can get it and then add it, and then we can just then you can also cut it up, whatever you want, guys want to put on the channel, because I think it'll be good for the traffic, for the KC 1400 traffic, to see particularly Miss Murley's presentation. Ken, when I say, I'll say this because I don't want to spoil it, but Ken, when I say at 90 years old,
wow,
she gave us what's your boy Raw Truth Media. Miss Murley said the raw truth that you need and that you deserve and need.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what she touched on, because I want to wait for folks to see it when TD is able to get it up. She talked about how she wasn't always as forgiving as Megan. And she talked about how when Megan was alive, she told Megan, she said, I believe in you and I believe in God, but I don't believe in this country. And she said it was Medgar who would always get her to believe. But I mean, she was really honest at some things that I think that now that she's at an age, she can feel like that. I can say she's basically saying, she gave us in that speech the real discussions that her and her husband used to have about doing real movement work. And I think that's important, because when we discuss our history, we like to discuss the victories, but we don't like to discuss the struggle. And so I just can't wait for people, and that's why I was so glad that Brother TD was there to get that, man, because it's gonna be a lot of people gonna love seeing what Miss Murley had to say. And shout out to the National Park Service, man. Shout out, because as you all know, the house now is a national monument. But how many, Brother TD? I mean, I counted maybe 25, 30. Was it park rangers?
Yeah, it was about 30.
And what I love was they all were saying that they volunteered to be there. Like, this wasn't they volunteered for the duty.
Yeah. The lady that was looking for the restaurant, I think she was from Florida.
Yep.
So
yeah, I just put in the private chat, Ken. I just put the information about Friday's Juneteenth panel. But yeah, so I am I'm looking forward to people, and that's the other thing about why it was important for Brother TD and Rob to be there, because, and I was surprised at this, no one else was actually capturing the whole ceremony. And again, that's another example of why it's important that we have to be in a position to tell our own story.
Yep.
We have to be in a position to not wait for other people, because we can't wait for other people to tell our story and then we get upset when they don't tell it properly. And so yes, I was just so glad for TD to get all that good footage, and so I can't wait for guys to for everybody to see it.
Yeah, I think WABT was there, man, and Ken, man, the speech that Ms. Ever gave was very. I mean, I'm sitting there with the camera, but I can't move because I'm in tune to what she's saying. At the same time, I'm trying to capture the moment and the expressions on people's faces. There was also a guy there that you never got a chance to meet. Clinton Alexander is his name, C. I think some way you need to meet up with the brother, because he has, as he was saying, tons upon tons. I mean, he got mega obituary. He has signatures and stuff of his kids. I even think he said he had the bullet, man. I don't know what all this guy doesn't have, but I have that on video as well. So we're gonna get that out there. And you say you want to. Well, we'll drop it on what we need to drop.
Yeah.
So I'll tell you something funny. In my transit to come back home, in my travels, I got stuck in that one airport, and I had to move over to the next one. I I had to take a lift over to the other airport, right? And I'm sitting outside next to this older gentleman, and he see my hoodie. He say, Jackson State? I said, yes, sir, Jackson State. And he said, man, he said, I just left Jackson. I said, yeah, so you know, I said, oh, okay. And he said, man, he turns this poster around, this picture around. And guess who the picture was of?
Who?
Charles Evers.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And he says, I'm his cousin.
Wow.
So he was there.
Okay.
And he said he was sitting at the table with Burley, you know, his widow. So his cut, I forget his name. It was Billy Ray Evers or something to that effect, but I know he come from Oakland. He came from the Bay Area. He came over, he traveled over for that. He was definitely there for it. And right before I left, I asked him for his name again, and I still forgot it. Because it was, you know, I was tired and just like, I just told him, man, that was amazing. I even mentioned both of you guys. I was like, you know, I said I had some buddies that were there. You know, I said there was, I asked him, did he know your name? And I said, I know you said you did a poem. And he remembered, he said he remembered someone doing a poem. And I was like, that's the brother I was talking about. And I was just like, wow, small world.
Yeah.
Literally sharing a bench outside.
Right.
Yep.
Bro George, yes, it does sound like you have a bunch of stuff that need to be in the museum, but you guys are going to see all that once we post them on the channels. And we have to find a way to get in contact with that gentleman to, you know, see. I know there's something that you may be interested in, Mr. McInnes. But yes, I can't wait to get the footage to you.
And Justin Smith has a question, and Justin, well, the answer is yes. So two things. So the answer is yes. There's always a voter registration push. In fact, my wife.
I do that.
Go ahead.
No, I was telling him I do that anyway. I wear my
one of the reasons why my wife and I take two vehicles to the game is because my wife always works voter registration at the game. Like for the past 5 years, we both get there at the stadium about the same time. I'm in my seat 2 hours before the game. My wife 2 to 3 hours before the game is working voter registration in the tailgate area. So that's number one. So yes, and so they'll be doing it. But here's what's most important. The biggest problem for African Americans, now let's be clear, they still have a supermajority. The Confederates still have a supermajority, and I'll address that, how we can deal with that. But despite them having a supermajority, the biggest problem for the state of Mississippi is not necessarily voter registration. We do a really good job with voter registration. Our job is actually getting the people registered to vote to actually vote. So that's where and there's a group. If you guys want to remember this name, there's a local group called Mississippi Move, MOVE. And MOVE is an acronym for something. I can't remember the acronym, but it's Mississippi Move, and it's headed by a couple of brothers. And one of their focus is to provide transportation for people to the polls during election day. And so if you're interested in that, if you're interested in doing that, if you're interested in donating that, Mississippi Move always, and they're usually based Jackson down to the coast, because that's where those brothers are from. One is from Jackson, one is from Hattiesburg, one is from the coast. So they operate out there, but they're looking to do more in the Delta. So if you're interested in working with providing or helping to provide transportation, just want to donate to Mississippi Move, that's really, so we want to continue to talk voter registration, but our biggest issue is that I think that right now, less than 50% of our people who are registered to vote actually vote. And that we still, and I want to say this, in a way that people kind of understand what I'm saying. We still don't have the numbers to elect somebody statewide just off of African American vote. That if we there, because we're only 34%. So we don't have the numbers. So someone that's running for a state office, like attorney general or governor or assistant governor, we don't have the numbers to do that. But what we do have the numbers to do is to control where we live.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what we need to start doing is those people that are registered to vote, if those people will just vote where we have the majority, and there are places around that have a majority, and we can control where we live. And so I think that needs to be a battle cry in Mississippi, that we probably can't control the whole state, but we can control where we live. And that needs to be a mantra. And I've discussed this before. The Jackson State, where the students vote, that can elect a city councilman, a county supervisor, and a state senator. I mean, that's how much power the campus of Jackson State and the students that vote there. If we could just get the students to register there and then vote after registering, it would change how the city's city council looks, how our county supervisor looks, and we can impact a state senator. So yeah, that's it. So I just wanted to because that was a good question that the brother had.
Hey, I have a question for you. And I don't know, but when Miss Evers asked her family to stand up, there was a mixture. Can you explain that? I mean, what was that a situation where everybody would just consider themselves family, or because there was a mixture of race when the family stood up?
I see. Yeah. No, I think a couple of people like married into the family.
Okay.
Yeah, there was a couple of people married into the family. Yeah. I get what you're saying. Yeah. That was a couple of people married into. I mean, that's interracial. Here's something that's interesting. I found this out about 10 years ago. Coming to your point, and I hate knowing that the facts are out there, but not having the facts right in front of me but I was surprised that the state of Mississippi is like middle of the road for interracial marriages in America.
Really?
Yeah, like when I saw that stat, I remember when I saw that stat, I just knew like we last in everything else. I know we was gonna be last in that, But I remember seeing that stat, and so because it was like and Mississippi, I was just surprised that we wasn't in the bottom 10.
No.
For that, so that really, really surprised me about that particular statistic. So I'd really like to revisit that statistic because I said that was about 10 years ago.
Go to Rankin County.
Okay, so I'll say this, and I don't know if brother Willie T is in. I know brother Al B is in the chat. I really didn't get exposed to interracial dating and interracial relationships until I went to basic training, then after basic training, AIT. And so when you get to AIT, after basic training, AIT is kind of like college because you're learning, particularly for people who are not foot soldiers. So because I had a legal class, I was a legal profession, that when I got there, I mean, when I say everybody was dating everybody, I think I was the only brother who was interested in the sisters. Like everybody else was dating, So yeah, so and I wonder if that has anything to do with a lot of military folk, because we have a real large military population in the state that I don't think people know. And so that may be one of, but yeah. So anyway, I think that's that was just interesting. So yeah, I do want to revisit that. I see Brother Trent is on with us.
Brother, it's always a pleasure to be on at the same time as you.
And look here, brother, look at that classmate. I get to see, and you know, Brother Trent, I used to hear my aunt and uncles them use that word classmate. But when I was a child, I used to tell with so much love and affection when they would say the word, like calling somebody your classmate to them meant something. But as a child, I didn't understand it.
Right.
But now when I see your face, and we was at JR 1400 JR Lynch together, there's something about that word classmate when I see your face and I understand what my aunt and uncles was meaning when they would say that word.
Well, all I can say is you certainly aged better than I did. So
look here, brother. Look here. You say that, but I see you all over the downtown area moving better than some folks in their 20s. So I understand that you still as spry as you used to be.
Hey, you better move or get run over.
There you go.
What's going on, Trent?
Hey, everything's good. How you doing, Tarante?
Pretty good, bro. Good
All
deal.
right. Anytime the topic turns to politics, I get interested. Most of the times I come in, I'm not even talking about football, even though to use a word that got used earlier, I'm a rabid Jackson State football fan. But we're talking about voting and really us using our power. There are enough Black people in this state that if we actually got a focus and improved our turnout rate by 25 to 30% of our people who are registered and or who are eligible to register, if we improve that by 25%, then that may or may not be enough to change some results. I know it could change the governorship, not necessarily to electing a Black person, but certainly to electing people who are, and I'm not going to just say by party, but people who are more amenable to policies that are helpful to Black people. I'll say that, and I'm not going to throw that on Democrats or Republicans, even though I do have an identification and a political party preference. But we can elect people who are not outwardly hostile to helping Black folks. As everybody is, I'm sure, aware by now, I'm a Rankin County native. There are enough Black folks in Rankin County that if they voted as a block, then they could very possibly stop this whole Tea Party movement in Rankin County and force that, what is a Republican county, you just about don't even need to run a Democrat there because it's a waste of time and money. But, you could force the Republicans to be more back toward the center. So really, and then I also want to point out, we are very short-sighted as a people. If we don't get everything that some politician said that they were trying to produce for us, if we don't get that in the first 2 years, then we start asking dumbass questions like, what is such and such doing for us? What have they done for us? And then, the question I hate the worst, what is his Black agenda? Right. And then, you go back, even back, and I'm gonna keep this as short as I can. What Barack Obama do for Black people? It's like, you idiots. First of all, the question presupposes, number one, that Obama never did anything for Black folks, and then secondly, we never ever hold the opposite political party to the same standard. We never demand that they do anything, but every time you look up, people are talking about voting for Trump, who, from where I sit, can't stand Black folks unless they are licking his boots. So off of that soapbox, what else we talking about? I'm happy to participate.
Let me quicker because I know just a couple people, so I want to say, Brother Benjamin Bradley. He grew up, went to school with one of my cousins, two of my cousins. So, Brother Benji, I see you. Brother HSB3, yeah, I got to give some love to Fry's Point Elementary, Fry's Point, Mississippi, right outside Clarksdale, Mississippi. I got to get some of that Fry's Point. You know, Ken, it's the only time I was ever proud to be a Brave. Only time I was ever proud to be one. And look at, and our school colors was purple and gold at that. So, my mom and my pop, who was Jackson State graduate, said, "Look here, boy, I know that's your school you play for them. But after the game, take that uniform off right quick. Take it off right. In fact, sneaking with some blue on under your uniform, just so I know we don't use it." And Sister Nissa again, I want to give a shout out to Sister Nissa, who's training our classmate as well. So I saw a couple of folks in there. What's up, Brother Albie?
What's up, baby?
What's going on?
Hey, I want to throw something
Yes, sir.
before Mr. Albie gets started here. When Brother C. was talking about interracial dating, and with this being a sports show as well, our Tigers, you know, we don't mind taking a great interracial players either. So just come on over. If you got the talent, we'll take you. It don't matter what color it is.
We don't discriminate.
Absolutely.
No, we don't discriminate at all. So we got something on the team, so we can all mingle.
Hey, when Celie and I were in school, the golf team was practically all white.
Yes, it was. Yes, it was.
Coached by Eddie Payton. You see these white guys walking around campus, you know. And the funny thing is, there'd always be somebody talking about, "See, look at them, they about to take over." And I'd be like, "Who about to take over?" Like them 7 white guys on the golf team.
Yeah, I remember one year we finally got a brother on the golf team. He took my class. He said, "Mr. Mackins, I'm asking." I said, "What'd you play?" He said, "I golf." I said, "Oh, brother, I've been waiting on you to show up. I've been waiting on you to show up." Go ahead, Brother Albie.
What's up, Al?
All right. As good brother Celie had mentioned, you know what I'm saying, as far as the military and interracial dating and all of that, that's not been my thing. I mean, being from the south side of Chicago and from my elementary school and even my high school, there was no students in my elementary school, no white students, and then in my high school, I remember one white kid, you know what I'm saying, that was a sophomore for my whole years in high school. So that's not something that I knew or was with. So coming into the military in '86, and I go to basic training, and I go to my first duty station, which was in northern Florida, Fort Walton Beach area. And so seeing what it was like being down there, and that schism was real. You know, you could sense it, you could feel it, you know. Driving through, you get the briefing from other brothers, you know what I'm saying, and sisters that was on the base. Hey, look, if you're gonna drive, and like if I'm taking leave and I'm gonna drive to Chicago and I gotta go get I-65, they're like, okay, look, here's what you do. When you go through those stoplight towns, do the speed limit, don't stop, you know, this, that, and the third, don't get gas, make sure you good, and you just flow through, you know. Now, with regards to my travels, I've been stationed overseas. My second assignment, I was in the UK and England from '89 to '92. South Korea from November '92 to '93. I took a special assignment in the DMV on a Navy base I got selected for. Then I went back to Korea to a different base, '98, '99. Mainland Japan from '99 to '01. Germany from '01 to '03, and then here at my last assignment.
Yep.
Throughout all of those assignments, all the places I've been, and in particular England, they tend to go a little crazy for the brothers or whatever, but that's never been my thing. I was what you call a yard dog. I love black women, that's what I need. You put me at a base and there's no black women, I have a hardship. Straight up and down. I'd have a real problem, a hardship.
I'm glad you said hardship and not hard on. I was
no, sir. No. They don't. No doubt. But it's
I was like, whoa. All right, go ahead. Keep going.
Yeah. But it was so for me, at my, like I said, I'm 55, bro. So I came up different. You feel me? Yeah. So knowing what time it was, I didn't come up like I said. So now there was other brothers that was from the crib, that was over there with me in England and other places, and they did what they did. And I can remember crazy thing that I wasn't on the base in England 5 minutes, and a random brother just out the blue walked up. Oh yeah, you just got here? I said, yeah, man, I just got in, man, And he says to me, out of nowhere, don't know me from nothing. I'm on the base 5 minutes. He say, sisters on the yard ain't shit, bro. You know what I'm saying? Come on, go off base. Like, what? Nah, player, now. I got the same thing that happened to me when I'm at my first base. There's brothers that had been overseas, and they're trying to tell me what I'm going to do when I get overseas. And I'm like, y'all don't know me and how I came up, but, y'all go ahead with that, So there are those of us that are out there, you know what I'm saying, that we have such a love for us as a people, and we understand the struggle. And because, again, it wasn't easy, like I said, having knowledge of self and knowing what time it is, and then being on active duty and in the Air Force in particular, because people, a lot of times you have people that they'll lose their identity.
I've seen.
Okay.
It. Yeah, I haven't.
I've seen it all too often where you have people that they wouldn't even go back home to where they're from, because somehow now that they're in the Air Force or the military, they're ashamed.
Well, I mean, that's.
And I used to scratch my head.
That's not just
a
military thing. That's and I know you're not saying that.
Not at all. Not at all. Just from my vantage point of my 22-year career of when I served in what I came across, you know what I'm saying? And I guess even back, and I used to just shake my head. I'm just like, again, coming from where I came from, I can remember, having to go to like there was a course that we had to take when you were preparing to become a non-commissioned officer. Yeah. And I remember having to go through that course, back in 1990. And so we're in the course, and
that's that A knock and B knock.
Well, in the Air Force, it was kind of like that, but it was just the Air Force equivalent. Right. It was what they end up calling the Airman Leadership School is what it became later, but it was not. It was the NCOPC, or Non-Commissioned Officer Preparatory Course, because to date it was back then. So before you could become a buck sergeant, you know what I'm saying? Because you went from E4 Senior Airman and then sergeant. Yeah. Okay. So before you could become a buck sergeant, you had to complete this course. And so I can remember, you know what I'm saying, and I touched on, where I'm from and what the South Side of Chicago looks like in the environment that I come from, and there was no shame in that, because I felt like, well, what does that say? Because here it is, I'm here.
Well,
so I came through that, you know what I mean? And, knowing that there's not the expectation. And that's really what a lot of people don't know is that's why the scores were so high to get into the Air Force originally, was to limit or to keep blacks from actually being able to go in.
Exactly.
So, I want to take what you're saying and kind of segue it back to the HBCU conversation, because I think it's necessary.
Shout out to Jersey Wave, by the way.
Oh, no doubt about it.
Nice.
No, I just think that.
Shout out to Jersey Wave.
So here's something that you got the Al B on that thing. No, I just think,
Yes, sir. You think I don't when I do?
Oh, no doubt. So check this out. I think what happens is when we predominantly, I'm gonna meet y'all.
And
Good 4-5.
Good 4-5 in that thing. So I think what happens is, like, this is why the conversation in regards to, oh yeah, you good. You got, he doing some shopping, man. Shout out to Craig, man. Shout out to Craig. Y'all be sure to support Craig. I'm gonna mute you because you got a lot of background noise, Al. 1 second.
Gotcha.
So I think what he's saying is right on, though. You know, when you think about it, because one of the things we were talking about, the conversation was about student athletes, you know, playing at HBCUs, you know what I mean? And I think when he said something to the effect about, you know how you go into certain other spaces, I don't even know, Celie, what led you to say that, because it was something that you were referencing. Is that the Boom shirt?
Yeah, that's a Boom shirt.
Yeah,
That's nice.
Somebody said no more.
It is nice. Love the Boom.
That's nice.
What, Celie, if you don't mind, what exactly made you mention that? God, I feel like I missed what you said when you mentioned that.
TD had asked about when they
oh yeah, the family
stand. Yeah. And there were, you know, not everybody that stood was melanated. And TD was wondering, was like, well, how they define their family, and I was just letting them know that, and I give props to TD. He asked the question as diplomatically as you could ask it, right? Like I gotta give you many points. Again, I can't claim it, though. I was one of your college English teachers, but look here, on that paper you was writing, that's an A there. You asked that as diplomatically.
Big TV.
I had to write in the margins there, but that's a fine use of your euphemism right there, Mr. Davis.
Big TV.
In plain English, they come to where do white folks come from?
I'm confused and I'm seeking clarification.
There you go.
TD thought they was gentrifying the Mega Ever story.
Exactly.
Right. He like TD said not on his watch.
I didn't know someone had. We went through this fight and the struggle and you know the loss of a great man's lives and I don't have a problem with any of it if that was the case. I just was wondering. No, it was a
date who you want to date. Date who you love.
Right,
love
exactly.
I
don't have a problem with it.
But you know what? Let me speak to something that hey Rochelle, what's happening, sis? So let me speak to something real quick. Al in his plastic. I gotta mute you, bro. So I'll say this because I left Jackson, obviously. You know, Jackson being one of the blackest cities in America, right? And then you go into a space that's predominantly white, Hispanic, like Austin, Texas. And this is interesting, there, Jeremiah. You should come up and talk about it. And I have a reason why I'm saying that, because you would not be surprised the amount of brothers that I have had to check. I'm going to say something because I'm finna go there. Like, now I'm finna get on my soapbox. I can't be in a situation or be in a surroundings where I'm around men that look like me, that denigrate and reduce women that look like Rochelle and look like my sister, look like my mama. I don't care if you like everybody. I'm cool with that. Like I have no issue with it. You know what I'm saying? Matter of fact, some of the other races probably have the biggest problem with it. Their families and stuff you got to deal with, because there's just some things you just have to deal with. But my thing was always like, man, date who you want to date, but don't put down the sisters, man, because you don't know every black woman. Black women do not have attitude because you don't know how many you had. Even if you say you had 17,
right?
Man, there's almost 8 billion people in the world. You tell me you done met every black woman,
right?
And I'm telling you, everything that you celebrate in this particular area, I've seen multiple, black women that actually represent characteristics of that on steroids. You know what I mean? So I just don't like to be around people that think that their futile experiences speaks for the masses. And it flips to the other side. I'm sitting here like, and so my thing was, and I'm talking to someone that I know that said that, it's gym talk and you got kids, man. And I mean, you got black kids. And I'm like, you got daughters. Like, I'm a girl dad. So I'm extremely sensitive to statements that are made in that direction because I know that I have to father against that foolishness. You see what I'm saying? I have to see them deal with that. And I'm like, don't you understand that you're perpetuating a mindset and a thought that's going to make the kids that you're rearing suffer in that environment? And I'm in Austin, Texas, where Austin, Texas is one of the most interracial, dating-friendly places I'll say it like this, and I'm gonna be funny with this. To my brothers out there who ain't getting no play. If you want to feel good about yourself, and I ain't saying that because I've been, you know what I'm saying. I'm middle of the pack for, you know what I'm saying. I'm middle of the pack towards the, you know what I'm saying, towards the.
Man,
other
look
side.
at Al.
You know what
Al
I'm saying?
is about to fall out.
Yeah, but listen to me. You know what I mean? If you just for lack of better terms, ain't really got it, you can go to some of them places and they'll make you feel good about yourself, at least for a little while.
Speaking of euphemisms.
Yeah. That man said, Joker black in a meeting with green eyes. I ain't never talked to black. I said, what the hell wrong with you? But anyway, no, it's something though. But no, it's all good, man.
Real quick, Ken. Brother Al B.
Michelle, you go next. Speak to
Brother Al B. Was the boom shirt from Jersey Wave as well? Because the people in the chat, they were asking about what did you get with the love. So the boom shirt was from Jersey Wave as well. All right. So yeah, so like I said, everything he got was from Jersey Wave, y'all. So yeah, so the boom shirt as well is from Jersey Wave. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Rochelle, Sister Rochelle.
Hello, everybody.
Yo.
Hello.
You know what's crazy? I was when I came on, I don't know why only you and Zoe popped up about the FEU was for 55 minutes. And I thought that was the live for the day. And so I was like, oh, they gone. They're already off. I've been sitting for 30 minutes not realizing that y'all was still on until I turned my other computer on and I saw that y'all was live. I was about to go put on my
well, we had a self-inflicted mistake happen.
Because I was like, they already done it on 50 minutes.
Hey, Rochelle, we was on that Blue Magic and had a self-inflicted error.
Well,
Shout out to my sister from New York, man. I like this sister. I love when she come on, Jeff.
She said she 5'2".
Hey,
she was
like she's 6'7".
Yeah, she was everything this morning. I mean, that was crazy. And she said, I'm not alone, but I love Jackson State. She said they just love their school. I was like, yo, we do. How's everybody doing? I'm sorry I came in late. I was going to put my pajamas on, but look, can you see my shirt? My friend made my shirt for me.
I can't see it. Hold on, let me drop this up.
It says, I'm gonna wear it. I just got it. I'm like, I put it on. I'm like, okay, it's real therapist, but it's a relevant, ethical, authentic, legendary therapist. Come on, therapist.
Wait a minute. Say that again.
I see. This guy has this thing with real on it, right? But it's relevant, ethical, authentic, legendary therapist. See it?
I can see it.
So I'm gonna get every color.
And you know somebody on this stream, Michelle, ain't said nothing. The only thing they thinking about real is what's behind the words. They ain't thinking about what's on that shirt. I'm just getting it out the way because I know how these folks on the chat be. You been putting that work in. I'm just telling you, listen, we're going to get you to Atlanta for the game one, and you're going to have a personal security guard. I don't want to have to lay holy hands on nobody messing with my girl now. You supposed to be crazy. I'm messing with y'all. I'm just teasing. But y'all know I ain't lying.
The situation effect. The situation effect, huh?
Yeah.
But you know what what you said, what everybody said, and what folks in the chat are saying is true. And what I tell people is that's one of the I used to tell my students that's one of the barometers for self-hate. And one of the barometers of self-hate, and I'm gonna bring it to relationship, but I'm gonna start somewhere else. So I said, here's how you can judge a barometer of self-hate. So
that one always saying so.
Let's say you go to a Popeyes or McDonald's. So let's say you go to the Popeyes on Clinton Boulevard. And that Popeyes on Clinton Boulevard, they close at 11, but they already run out of chicken at 8:30. They ain't dropping no more chicken. They ain't got no more fries, right? What most people will say is, well, I ain't gonna mess with that Popeyes on Clinton no more. I'm gonna go to the one on Spring Ridge, right? So that's the latitude they'll give them. But then they go to a black business. And that one black business is bad. They'll say, well, that's why I don't shop black.
Yeah, exactly.
And that is the epitome of black self-hatred. You will give this white
always told it.
Right. You'll give this white company and these white people the latitude. So that's the same thing they do in their dating. You have one bad experience with one black person, and now you claim you don't date nobody black. Well, that's really about your projection of your own self-hatred. And I'll end with this. And people know I'm like the least hip-hop person. So the fact that I'm giving these a hip-hop reference, but if you've seen the movie Juice, and if you remember the character that Tupac played, and there's a scene in the movie where the guy asked the Tupac character, asked the Bishop, they said, "What's wrong with you?" And I'm gonna clean it up. I'm not gonna use the language. But remember what Bishop said? Bishop said, "I already know I ain't bleak. And once I determine that you ain't bleak, I'm gonna kill you too."
That's right.
That's self-hatred. What happens is these people who claim not to date their own really don't like themselves. And so because they don't like themselves, they're looking for validation. That's why I tell people it's not about who you date. Nobody cares who you date. It's the reason for the date. If you happen to find somebody with whom you vibe, you find somebody that you just like, doesn't really matter. But if you dating somebody specifically because they are a certain color and you're projecting that, that's self-hatred. And that self-hatred is with you, but they can't see that because one of the most difficult things for a human being to do is evaluate themselves.
Yeah.
It's very easy to evaluate because to evaluate yourself means to deal with your own trauma and mess. And it's just easy to project that on the other people rather than to evaluate yourself and walk through the murky mire that I should have.
Or inflicted on other people.
Or inflicted on somebody else. There you go.
Yeah, primary example is sitting on our United States Supreme Court of everything you just said.
My goodness.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
Out loud.
Yep.
Yes, sir.
Well, you know, the biggest thing is, I was like, well, come on, Mr. C. Listen. And that is very true. A majority of people don't want to look inside. They would rather. I tell people all the time, y'all deflect, and a lot of y'all got some deeper issues that y'all don't want to talk about. So I ain't got a table, I ain't got a bed, but some of y'all do need to come into the space and have a whole conversation. So and to this day, you know what I think is interesting to this day, and I think you know what's so deep about what you just said, Celie, is not just with us. It's with majority of all races.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And the bad part about it is they don't even understand their worth. Like Asians, for instance.
Right.
They think if they get close to white, In the Dominican, for instance, Haiti is on one side of the island, right? And
Right.
Dominican is on the other side. And the darker Dominicans are discriminated against.
Yep.
That's why they
ones
do. That's why they go through.
colonized.
That's why they go through skin brightening.
Yes,
Yep.
yes.
Like
And
Sammy
so,
Sosa.
Sammy Sosa.
or even the
Or is it
Who is pink?
or is he Samuel?
Man, when I saw
All
Sammy
I know
Sosa,
is all I know is his ass is pink now.
man, when I saw Sammy
He ain't
Sosa,
black
do that
or
to
white.
His
me,
name is no longer Sammy Sosa. His name is Samuel S.
oh my
It's just,
goodness.
you know, but even with Filipinos, my girlfriend, she's a dark Filipino. She was telling me in the Philippines, the darker skinned Filipinos are put into the mountains.
Yeah.
I think
They are shamed.
what brother GA just said was I want to go back to his comment. He said what's good, brother GA? He said, really wish we could realize collectively just how much we influence the world.
We are the world.
Seriously, because it goes back to, like, I don't want to lose sight of the fact that we are doing something that it's so simple. I promise you, there's still some people that watches us every single live stream that have not donated.
Right.
Because they don't believe it's gonna happen.
It ain't.
It's happening in front of their face, and they still don't believe it.
Yep.
No, hold on. It's not that. It's that thing that's happening inside of them that blocks you from supporting the cause.
Yep.
Now, I just want to tell everybody that we just hit 30K. Okay.
All right.
So I don't care what nobody think. You know what I'm saying? We at 30
Salute.
right now. Now,
Wow.
Salute.
now check this
And 4
out.
shows.
Check this out. 20K, I'm gonna say it again. 20K is simply 200 people giving $100.
Right.
It does not matter if you gave $100 already. It does not matter what you give them. If you could, in that moment, say, you know what? Let's get this over with. Let's just do it. That's what GA is talking about.
Right.
Because again, I wish let me tell you, I'm gonna say it like this right here. I'm gonna do it backwards this time. If y'all knew what we were doing and why we were doing it, we would have hit the goal in the first week. I am confident in that. I have that without a doubt. And I understand there's some apprehension. There's some, you know what I'm saying? But I'm going to continue to press and continue to push because I know we can do it.
But
Now, if we fall short, I'm going to give it because we're going to get that 50K. I'm just telling you that right now.
Ken.
Yes, where you at?
I think that it is outstanding that in 4 shows we've been able to hit 30K and people don't know what the hell they giving to.
That's what you call, right? That's trust.
I'm gonna just say, I ain't no scammer. Listen to this. Y'all got me and Zoe's head on the stake. If it's anything shady, I am wide open. And
Well, you know what? You wouldn't have got 30K if people was worried about that.
Oh, I already, and I know that, and I'm being funny about it. But all I'm gonna say is just it's some shocking all coming, baby. I'm just trying to tell you. And as soon as I figure out something else, I got some. I'll say this though, and I don't mind saying this. We got some big big folk that want to get with us. But Rochelle and I had a conversation. Boy, when we do get what we trying to get, boy, we cooking now. Once that nonprofit become official, because the reality of the matter is 501c3 is not to be played with. Speaking of that, because we did have a conversation, and this is one of the things I do want to kind of segue into real quick. When they was referencing, I guess the IRS is coming back now saying that, you know, NIL collectives using 501c3s is not, they say not legal. They're not tax exempt.
They're not going to be tax exempt.
There it is. So for those that was you putting together collectives, that's not what we didn't do anything like that. So I'm just saying for those that did, that are using 501c3s, I can't answer the why, but Rochelle, maybe you can, because you have a 501c3 and like what the funds have to be used for and why NIL can't be one of those things.
I will find the article and read up on it, and I'm going to ask my accountant to look at it before I speak on it.
That's big because I definitely want to make sure that for the student athletes that may be tuned in and looking, you receiving that money, you gotta pay tax on that money, man. You better get you a CPA. You know you're a contract worker now.
Yep.
I'm just trying to tell you, whatever that contract is, that money got to be with it, whatever. You know what I'm saying? So
it's taxable.
It's taxable. Go ahead, bro.
Ken, let me ask a question, kind of adding on to what you stated a moment ago. For some strange reason, within all of us, we have, and I hate to use the word hatred, even within your own family. You have some.
Boy, you better you ain't know.
you have just say like if you have a cousin or someone who's a good athlete or a good musician or whatever the case, and they at the pinnacle of their career, whether it's going to the Super Bowl or going to a high school championship or a college championship, you have that drive inside of you where you want them to succeed. However, there's part of you that don't want them to succeed. I know that sounds weird. Right. So it's not that we overzealous and like, yeah, that's, you have some people say, man, that's my cousin Ken. That's my that you know what I'm saying? That's my boy Seeley, he's doing that. You know what I'm saying? They hyping you more than you hyping yourself. But then you have that other person, then you have the other side or figure that's on the side, like,
he think he's something.
I mean, that's my cousin. I want him to win, but they kind of like.
Well, people. So here's the thing, man. People judge, like, if we being real, like, you see the world through your own prism, through your own lens.
Right.
That's how you see the world. So usually you're using yourself as a standard.
Yeah.
So people that are not very successful when they're in the company of people who are successful or whatever they deem to be successful, that person becomes a mirror.
Yep.
So if you did not take a risk, there are people that's mad at us because we going forward, because they had an opportunity to go forward and they did. But they can't help but watch it because they like, I want to see how far this is gonna go. There's not people that want us to fail. But that's not as many. There's not as many people that want to see us fail that watches us on a regular that exceeds the amount of people that want to see us have success. I just refuse to adopt that mindset. I believe that there are a ton of people. If you count up all, there's hundreds of people that have contributed to this platform. We have hundreds of, supporters. So that I just tend to focus on that. And the day, like Brother C. Lee always say, the day I started focusing solely on us and stop focusing on the haters, the day my headaches and all that stuff tend to go away. Because a lot of stuff I don't look at and I don't touch anything that might trigger me or might see something. Because I get enough stuff to fall in my lap anyway. If somebody sees anything out there that they think is of any type of anything, whether it's about Deion Sanders, whether it's about any of his kids, whether it's about Jack State, former school, somebody in the SWAC, it finds its way in my inbox, in my text thread, in my anything. So I don't need to go look at nothing. I just be trying to take moments and steal moments to just be away from everything. So, but nevertheless,
can I share something with y'all?
Yes, you can.
So check this out. This gonna help somebody in the chat too. I heard this young man say this, but it helps it make sense. Is that he told me that wounded ears hear differently.
Yep. Yes, indeed.
Wounded eyes see differently.
Yep.
And wounded mouth speak differently.
That's right.
So even though you may be saying something positive, when it filters through the wounds, they don't hear nothing you just said.
Yep.
So for a lot of people, what I'm understanding now is that when I listen to people speak so much hatred or so much just negative all the time, I just keep on telling myself, they're not hearing.
Right.
Hear differently. And through their wounds, they just negative. So once I realized that, Ken, it helped me to not trip on a whole lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
It really has helped me trip on a whole lot of people because they don't see what you see.
Mm-hmm.
They got failure in front of them. So it's a filter. So this is my glasses. So before I got the word failure on here. So even though it may be blue skies out there, it's filtered through failure first.
Yep.
So it's distorted every time.
Yep.
Okay, that's a whole word for somebody. That's a whole word for somebody.
Preach.
So Roselle, what you saying is something like you take a person that come from a winning football program, take a person come from a losing football program or the mediocrity football program, and then they come to a program they're used to winning, and they don't understand the work habits.
Right.
Because they're not used to winning, and they're not, they're used to selling for 5-5 or 7-4 or whatever the case may be. They're used to a mediocre season, and they don't understand the extra lag, the extra push that the people that won the championship put forth, and they think they overachieving, the overperforming because that's not what they're used to.
Exactly.
People like to see they want to judge the shine, but they won't. The grind is where the work is really done.
And they don't realize what it takes to stay at a particular level, not just to get to that level, but to stay at that level.
Right.
Okay.
Exactly.
So check this out. I'm going to give y'all the definition, but I'm not going to give y'all the word.
Come to you next, Albie.
I'll give you next. And this is what I thought was interesting because I mentioned this on one of my devotionals. With no special distinction features, normal. Nothing special about them. That's the word we use all the time, ordinary.
Yep.
I'm not ordinary.
Yep.
Ordinary is somebody, no special features, normal. So when you settle to be ordinary, you just basic.
Right.
Come on.
Right.
That's why the definition of the word is the definition of the word. I never call myself ordinary. It's not that I'm being conceited. I understand what the definition is. Mm-hmm. I'm not basic. I'm not normal. The definition of the word is the definition of the word. Okay, let me be quiet. I'm done.
Albie. Hold on, bro. Let me there you go. Go ahead.
Okay. We have a lot of people, family members or what have you, but just people that might be in our circles at whatever level, some from your close family, close friends to acquaintances or whatever, that all see each of us differently.
Right.
What the drive that some of us have within to succeed or to try, many hate that they see that in you because they know they don't have it within them.
That's right.
Okay. Right. They don't want when you step out and you strive. I mean, I don't know how many those who aren't, may say veterans, but they served and they did a certain amount of years and then they got out, right? And then when they see that I'm a veteran and we have the conversation, it could be on the street or whatever, or at the VA or what have you, and they just say, man, yeah, I was in, and then man, I should have stayed. I could have been retired by now, and I've heard that I don't know how many times, you know what I'm saying? And I think that just for me, there was something within me that coming from where I came from that I said, those that I saw doing it and doing a career and being able to retire, I said, well, if they can, why can't I?
Right.
And I said, I have what it takes, and then to not only have what it takes, in the Air Force, we have to test for each of our stripes, like some of the other services, depending upon what benchmarks and blocks you check off, you can get promoted. And the Air Force is from basically from once you get to E4, that's it. Everything after that, you got to test 2 100-question tests, plus your time and service, time and grade, and your awards and decorations. But it's those 2 100-question tests, one on your job, and then one is on the Air Force. You have to pass those tests to make every stripe from E4 on.
Yep.
You know, otherwise, hey, thank you for your service. We have what we call high year tenure. So, and high year tenure for an E4 is 10 years. Thank you. You don't make E5, the gate's that way.
It's called up or out.
Yes, sir. Exactly. So I retired as an E7 Master Sergeant. So I had to, again, apply myself, be disciplined, you know, all of the deployments, choosing to be stationed overseas, because every overseas assignment I've had, I chose to go. I've had more overseas assignments than stateside, and that was by choice, you know. And so then you even see people that, like you said, Ken, they hating on this platform because, and then it's crazy because they was like, man, well, they doing it, but you know, well, it could have been, and they're mad because it wasn't them.
Mm-hmm.
And so they, like you said, Ken, they watch, you know what I'm saying, and to the panel, they're watching because they want to see, or when is it going to be a letdown, or when is it going to be this? And so every time we achieve together, the I Love family achieves a benchmark, and we're, like I said, we set out to do this X, Y, and Z, and we achieved it, and they're seeing the tangible results. They're sitting back hating, but still watching. There's a sickness in there.
No, it's not. Wait, hold on. It's not a sickness, Al. And let me share with you why. All things are not equal. This is what I mean. For some people that are watching us, like, I look at the root of everything, right? So for some people who don't have never experienced the love that we have for each other, they have the faintest idea how can we love strangers the way we do. So when I'm looking at someone in root, for instance, a lot of us don't understand the gift. God says we are created in the image and likeness of God. That means all of us have gifts. Some of us just don't believe we're worthy of it because, truth be told, in our childhood, we told us we was gonna never be nothing.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So you got to go, DC. Right now, you at the surface. I'm getting to the root. So you have to ask yourself the question: why don't you believe you're worthy of that? Who told you that you wasn't worthy of love? It's not too many people that love the way we do. I don't know y'all personally, but there is a love. I don't know Ken. I don't know. I know them just on this app, but I have a love for them. Some people will never experience the love we have experienced.
To meet me is to love me.
But what I'm saying, even like
hey, you know what I'm saying? It's levels to that thing. You know what I'm saying? I'm just telling you that, you know, I have an infectious aura. Go ahead.
I try to tell the ladies it's gonna be okay. Don't worry.
I wear a cologne called pheromones. I'm just playing now.
But so, Al, but for
wake
real,
up out there, God dog.
But for some people, I don't think it's more of a hatred. It's a meaning that what does it mean to love like that? Like, what does that look like? That these people really love their school, love each other, and they have trust. A lot of people and this is the thing, it starts in your roots, and truth be told, we traumatized and we just ain't never dealt with it. So it's not always on top as to that. I'm challenging us to go deeper because of the caring that we care for each other. Some people have got lessons in our thing. Some people, so you're asking people who don't know what love is to love. They can't give you what they ain't never experienced. Now that's not everybody, but that's just another way to look at it. You remember on the 5 Heartbeats when his daddy said, "You ain't gonna be, cause I ain't."
That's it.
You see what I'm saying? So when you've been told that your entire life in your childhood, you're the treat of your childhood.
Yep.
You got to go a little bit deeper. That sounds good, but a lot of people are really in pain, and they don't know. That's why I said wounded people hear love thing differently. Is that now one thing? All that pain that caused us, it caused us to run towards the love and not from it.
Yep. But you know, Sister Rochelle, what you're saying is true because we have to be taught that. And I was lucky enough to be taught that twice by my father, once in the 3rd or 4th grade, and then again in high school. And I'll tell these two stories quickly. About 3rd or 4th grade, in my school, you put your candy in your bag, and you go to school with your candy in your bag. And Brother Albie and Ken and Brother Day and Brother Trent, whoever had the best candy bag, that's who the girl chose that day. And I'm putting dilators and lemon heads and
that ain't changed much.
Juju beans and look here. But kid, check it out. I'm loading the bag up, right? And she choosing everybody but me. I'm like, what the hell wrong with my bag? And I'm going back the next day and I'm putting Hershey's and Kiss Drops and tuna. And so one day my pop.
Why you won't play with my frog?
Yeah, my pop show up one day, right? And I get in the car bag, I slam the door. Now, let's be truthful. Pop was more concerned about me slamming the car door. He was slamming my damn car door. But he said, well, son, what's wrong? And I said, well, Pop, I be putting candy in the bag and jujus and 9-laters, but she don't be choosing me. Shoot, because that's what you say when you're 4th grade. Shoot. And my father, the pimp that he was, he took a deep breath and he leaned over and he said, son, you need to learn to like the girls that like you. I said, like the girls that like me? Wait a minute.
I built on that all my life.
That don't what? Like the girls that like me? Wait, hold on. Let me let that man pop. Like the girls. Now, that's what he did for me in the 3rd, 4th grade. Then when I got to high school, he happened to be at the house. And back then, for y'all people who don't know, there used to be something called a business signal. So you try to call somebody and you get that bump, bump, bump. You mad as hell with that bump, bump. So I'm slamming the damn phone now because I'm sick of that bump, bump. And again, just like that Kato, my pop just mad I'm slamming his phone down. He don't really care about what's going on. And finally, I got slammed that phone down 2 or 3 times. You know, my pop walked up to me. He said, son, he said, next time you call somebody and you get that business signal, I said, yes, sir. He said, what you need to say is, they miss me. See, son, you thinking you miss them. You thinking that when you call and they not there, when you call and the phone busy, you miss them. No, son, you didn't miss them. They miss you. And from that moment, when I realized, Brother Albie, Brother Ken, Brother Dave, when I realized, Sister Rochelle, that they miss me, I don't think I ever made another phone call in my life. You know what? Just call me.
Man, he was raised by a pimp.
Know your worth. Know your worth.
Look, you know, to add,
I have and my wife, I people say, how did you and your wife met? She chased me down. That's how we met. That's all I got to say.
And that's your story, and you sticking to it.
You get a lot of dubs. You get a lot of wins if you like who like you.
I like that one. That know your worth. Likes the way I like that one. Listen, I like that one. Like the men that like me.
There you go.
Look,
women,
there's an old saying.
Word. That's the word.
Man, that's the case, Rochelle. You're gonna have to like half the chat. The numbers don't look the same when you ain't on here.
Damn sure don't. Where Rochelle? Hey,
I can name a few, but I ain't gonna embarrass them because they might stop donating. I ain't gonna put them on.
And listen,
Let me stop playing.
Hey, but there's an old saying: water finds its own level.
Listen, listen. That's a whole nugget you just said. I'm about to share that with some.
But you know, the bringing this all together. The truth of the matter is, that's really the issue. Is that a lot of this backlash, a lot of this hate that we got, was the fact that how dare Jackson State try to change their situation?
That's right.
How dare Jackson State try to reach for something
Yep.
And not do plenty of, and that's my problem. When people ask me, and I'm not, look, we doing the cool by y'all.
Who they think they are to try to do
But when
that?
people ask me, when I say I don't go on the other sites, I don't. Here's why. Here's one of the reasons why. And I need everybody and people in the chat and anybody on the screen, check me if I'm lying. But here's why. The last 2 years, you look at the last 2 years, not one school that we beat, all the schools that we beat, not any of them were men or women enough to simply say, "Good game, Jackson State, y'all just won."
That is a fact.
But that's
so when it's this excuse, and so the only excuse now is right, well, Dion gone,
or all of our mistakes were self-inflicted.
Exactly.
But how about just happy though that we
59 points.
How about that though? Just happy we in game.
And so it really boils down to how dare y'all try to reach and do something that the rest of us not. And what we're going to do is we're going to humble you, and we're going to make sure that you remember your place. And we're just going to sit around and watch. We're going to come in. We're going to be 100 and how many of us that's lurking and looking to make sure that when you do fall,
we going to be there. Yeah.
We want to be right there. And that's a sad lesson to tell Black children. Because one of the things that when I travel around the country, one of the things that I tell whether I'm traveling as a poet or a short story writer or I'm doing whatever, I always tell young Black people, don't ever let fear determine your decision. Never let fear determine your decision. And there are too many Black people allowing fear to determine their decision. In fact, every time I pass a grave site with my grandson, I say, "Look over there, son. I tell my grandson, I say, you know what's over there? A whole bunch of dreams that people took with them because they were scared to act on them." And I want, and instead of us knocking other schools and other Black people and laughing at them because they reach for greatness and may not get it, is that we need to be more encouraging to tell people, don't be afraid to fall, don't be afraid to stumble. And that's why I like when you said that trust. Can you and Rochelle and TD and Zoe, y'all have built up that trust, because in that chaos that Sister Rochelle, that chaos was all about people being upset that we were reaching for something that they didn't think we should have had anyway. But that's them projecting their self-hatred onto us. And what we are learning to do is not to be driven by fear and not to be driven by somebody else's projection of us. I'll shut up.
Can I just say one thing about fear? Y'all know I'm telling y'all be connecting dots. So what's great about fear is this. You are either thinking in fear, and if you're thinking in fear, y'all know I'm y'all thug scripturalist, but the Bible says God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of sound mind, love, and power. So if fear is making you do the decisions you make, you're not thinking with power, you're not thinking with a sound mind, and you're not thinking in love. Because there is no gray in that scripture. So whenever you do anything and fear is the reason you're doing it, it ain't gonna turn out right. Because it wasn't given to you by God, because God gives us power, love, sound mind. Fear is the opposite of that. So whenever you operate in fear and you make your decisions in fear and you stay in relationships in fear, you're not thinking soundly. You're not thinking with power, and you're definitely not thinking with love. I'm done. Come on, you got something to say.
And brother Cedric Walker, you're exactly right. It's like whatever that was that came, whatever those 2 years were, right? Instead of a lot of people taking advantage of it, a lot of people moving into it, stepping into that, it was, well, if it's not shining on me, I don't want to shine in anyway. So yeah, you're exactly right, brother Cedric Walker. And again, it's about, again, with me being the heathen on the screen, I know I'm the one heathen on the screen that y'all just gonna have to, pray for, whatever, But you know, as I think, and I can't remember who put it in the chat about the gifts not being equal, and everybody get different gifts.
Right.
And one of the things I learned as an athlete, mediocre though I was learning to be a star in my role, learning to be a star with the gifts that I have. And understanding that if you just shine in your gifts, who was it? In fact, it was somebody who recently committed to us, Ken, who said that it was a receiver, as a matter of fact. He said that he started getting recruited because recruiters were looking at another player, but he was standing out on that player's film because he was a good blocker as a receiver. And he said that's how he started getting looks, because they had never seen a receiver that was that committed to blocking. That's the perfect example of using the gift that you, rather than being mad that somebody else is getting shine, I'm going to use the gift that I have and I'm going to shine with my gifts. Because here's the thing about it. When you shine with your gift, can't nobody take it from you. See, if I try to shine with Brother TD's gift, that can be taken from me because I'm not going to ever be out TD.
Right.
And so that was the whole thing now. And so we are now walking in, loving who we are, loving Jackson State, not being ashamed of Jackson State, embracing all of who and what we, and that inferior, when people don't love themselves and they think you less than, how dare you love your little country raggedy HBCU, JR Lynch Street, still calling it Junior Lynch Street. They don't know it's 2 dots after the J and after the R. It's John R, it ain't Junior. And Junior Lynch, you up there on Junior Lynch.
In the middle of the hood.
In the middle of the hood.
Well, wait a minute. And to let you see how low it is when they go so low to say, when they can't say anything else about our school and we still love it, they go so low to even say, that's why y'all ain't got no drinking water. Do you know?
Yep.
Okay. Do you know how crazy that is?
That's why the streets toe up. Oh, I'd heard it all. Right.
Hey, I want to say this, and I want to take a page out of my brother's book, and it's been ruminating in my mind whether I was going to speak it or not. But I attend the church here in Greater Pearly Grove, and my late great pastor Stephen F. Mason, he was one of those pastors who didn't wear the robes. He wasn't flashy, and when he did his sermon, he read the scripture, and then he went back through each scripture and related to life, everyday life, and he stepped on so many people's toes. He hit so many people in the face. It was one of those situations where you felt that this man was in your house, and every story from the congregation, people there, they were getting mad at him. They would say, you know what, I'm not ever coming back to this church no more because this man right here is talking about me and he's bashing me and he's doing this, he's doing that, because he was about family. And my brother Ken would say, y'all just follow me because I'm going somewhere with this. So we lost him almost 2 years ago, and he took a small church that was on Grand Avenue and built it to a whole lot of people being mad at him, to having, anywhere from 1,000 to 1,200 members. And that's because he gave you straight word, no cut, no chase. Now, the reason I say that, because although people got mad at him, they still came, they still joined, congregation still grew. Well, with this situation, with me being on this platform right here, it goes to my brother. So I've always been in my little corner, my little world, my family, gym, church, work, go to all the games, minding my business. Then Ken Clark came along. I had no idea we be, vibing as long as we have, because it went from one initiative to being here. Now, go back to the story I was saying. There was time that, and I'm be real, I'm be transparent here. I was like, man, that can be pretty aggressive. Like, man, can be pretty blunt. Like, man, sometimes can say something that hurts your feelings and make y'all might want to throw them things. I was like,
don't want to do that. I got hands now.
So I'm just saying, like,
I'm just messing around.
I know. So I'm like,
them things, man.
I'm like, man,
I tell you, man.
I'm not. I said, I don't know. Let me go back in my hold and just watch and support. But something about this show, something about the initiative, something about the fam kept pulling me in. You know what I'm saying? Until it got to the point I was like, you know what? That gentleman is the way that he is. The initiative go the way that it is. The platform is going the way that it is because the man walk with confidence and success. You can't be successful and be scared. So this platform is actually growing me as a person, and it taking me out my comfort zone, and it making me do things even with the videography and stuff like that. There are some things I'm gonna have to take up on myself because I want the best for the platform. I want the best for the channel. I want the best for the viewer. I want the best for Tiger Nation, the best for Jackson State. And part of that is here with me. So with all that being said, we have to learn to support each other. We have to learn to get, learn from everyone. So with that, I would like to say, man, I appreciate this platform, this show. I appreciate Ken, even when he fussed. Y'all, he fussed. And I appreciate when he fussed, but I know it's just like a hard coach. I know the intentions are great. I don't want to use the word fuss, but
I want you to pause right there for a second. T and C Lee. So everybody, Trent, I got a chance to see my nephew's son play basketball this weekend. Love that boy, man.
Bring tears to your eyes.
Listen to me. No. This is the thing. I realized very shortly why I cannot be a coach in this era. The parents will hate me. I'm a disciplinarian.
Right.
I don't care.
Yes, sir.
So my thing with this right here, I saw the opposing team coach tell someone to get in and substitute young man. He was like, me? He was like, yeah, you. He like, man, he done went to the bench and done hit down on the bench. Something tricked. I looked over there, I was like, I said, oh, hell no. I said, boy, I would have told, hey, man, you out of here, bro.
There you go.
Right.
Hey, man, get your stuff, go.
There you go.
Don't come back.
Leave the uniform on your way out.
Don't come back. I don't, man, listen. I don't do that. And then he had a teammate. My nephew had a teammate. And boy, what did Steph Curry do to these kids?
Everybody wants to bad for it.
Listen, Steph Curry is the greatest shooter we've ever seen and probably ever gonna see.
Yep.
But they not Steph Curry because what they don't see is they don't see the work that Steph Curry put in. That is probably also arguably the hardest working NBA player in the history of the game. Possibly. That little boy was shooting 3-pointers and running back down on the other end before he determined if they were going to go in or not. He missed all of them.
I know. I thought he was doing Othello, man. I thought he was.
Bro, I was losing. Bro, I was losing. I was like, what?
And he'd have been on all of the bench.
And the coach, I'm about to say, coach left him in.
He'd have been on all of the bench, missing all them threes.
Discipline. These kids are different. I am big on discipline, man. And what I mean is, I mean what I mean, but I just think that there's certain fundamentals of the game that this is, let me say it this way, and I'll shut up. This is why, if you remember what Kobe said, you know, this is why the European players or the overseas players, the international players are literally taking over the NBA. Because AAU, and I know it's may ruffle some feathers, Coach, I know Coach couldn't. This is my coach right here. Coach, this ain't your era. I come from under the Johnny Lewis, Coach Lewis era where discipline mattered. You know what I'm saying? What the coach say you do with the right attitude, or it wasn't gonna be no more coach. You were gonna be at home. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I had a bad attitude, and I get it. But believe it or not, the coach that I got, you know, one of the coaches I have the absolute most respect for is my coach, Godfrey Drake. Coach Drake, who was my AAU coach, and his son and I played together. I disrespected Coach when we was in Louisiana. Now, I think I was averaging. Now, Coach, you didn't get this version of me. You got the little fat, chubby, short version of Ken in 8th grade. But I got better. You know what I'm saying? So I think I'm averaging close to 30. And I cussed him, and he kicked me out the team.
Mm-hmm.
I felt like I was one of the best players he had. He didn't give a damn. And he served me correctly. And that's the first time I cried, man. I cried so hard, man. I'm at grandma's house. My grandma like, you ain't gotta go to practice. I'm like, yeah, grandma, we ain't got practice today. I didn't have practice today.
All right.
So I brought one of my high school teammates from Madison Central. And he was actually better. He was a more athletic, but he was a better player. He averaged 2 more points than I did in high school. And he came to play with us. So I'm calling him like, say, bro, we ain't got practice today. He was like, huh? He like, man, I'm on the way to practice now. He said, what you mean we ain't got practice? I said, man, coach called me and said we ain't got practice today. He like, you sure? He like, man, we on the way. We practicing at this time. You talking about look on the outside looking in, see, you talking about hurt? That little knot in your throat when you trying not to cry.
Yes, sir.
And then I called coach. I said, hey coach, what's up, man? What happened? Coach said, yeah, son. I think you need to work on your attitude. I was like, coach. I said, hold on. You lost your mind, eh?
Look at Rochelle.
Southwest got a 40% off. I just found
we said that this morning. We
said
said that.
Listen, I just got my ticket for like $200 something to go to homecoming. I'm like, wait a minute. Okay.
Y'all better book them tickets now.
You better get your ticket to Southwest.
You put 40 off in the code. 40 off.
I just looked at the ticket. It's $240 from Stanford. Okay.
So
I gotta write that down. My daughter graduated from North Carolina A&T in December.
Oh, that's what's up.
Yeah.
But no, the point that I'm making is that we talking about discipline. We talking about just being, just I don't know, man. I mean, best compliment you gave, you said it had stand. Absolutely, Cole. It wasn't. Man, it was without question. I just wish I could have played. That team was loaded though. I came in an era where we had a really good team, and just that time frame around 95, 96-ish was just tough, man. We had a lot of talent in the city. I still remember, like it was yesterday, Ed Mack was at Rowan, Justin Reed was at Hardy. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I could go on and on. Darius Rice was at Northwest. I mean, it was just it was a loaded era, and I think we might have won. I think we played 9 games. We went 7-2, if I'm not mistaken. Something to that effect. But it was this middle school I'm thinking about. But anywho, I noticed that I was out there. I was just like, my goodness, man. And I realized that what I learned, I say I didn't learn the game of basketball until I went JUCO. Like really understood the fundamentals. Before that, it was just getting buckets. Put the ball in the hoop.
Right.
But understanding the actual science and intelligence behind the game and knowing how to dissect offenses and defenses, the mental side of the game is where I grew when I got to college. But anywho,
Hey, well, let me stand correct. I was being funny when I said Ken fuss. He don't fuss. He just
I do.
Yeah, it's straight.
No, we shoot straight. I ain't got time.
Yeah, we shoot straight,
man.
We shoot straight. Yeah, yeah. He'll call you and talk real deep. I mean, what
I said row in. I remember row in that purple. Didn't they wear purple and white?
Yep.
Yeah, I remember row in. Yeah. Who was in the South Jackson school? What was that? Middle school.
Peoples.
Whedon?
Nah, it was Sywell.
Sywell. Oh yeah.
Peoples, Sywell, and Whedon.
Sywell, Peoples. That's right. It was Peoples. Nick Dupree was at Peoples.
That's what the player went to Mississippi State. Was at first, wasn't he? The big guy. Kelly said it was her cousin. Played Mississippi State.
Oh, you talking about
the one got to fighting in the stands.
I'm looking at him. What's his name, man? The big
with an R.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
He was supposed to be the next big thing, and he was just average at the college.
Ricardo Sidney.
Yeah,
Renardo
Sidney. I think he started it over at Peoples.
Man, hey, that was I ain't mean to go back down memory lane, but Powell, I feel like I went to all of them, but anywho, that's neither here nor there. But no, I appreciate that, T. You say that all the time, man. It's like we feed off each other. The objective is to get us where we need to be, and to
that's
keep
right.
prepared, man. Sometimes in order to make things move, you gotta. Zoe say this all the time, man. Growth comes from being uncomfortable. Sometimes we gotta be uncomfortable, man, in order to really push the needle. You know what I'm saying, and get us where keep pushing.
Yeah.
But we go ahead.
Can I break in and I want to come in on something that Tarante said about his late pastor, Reverend Mason. First sermon that I ever heard Steve Mason give, I was in the 06-07 class of Leadership Jackson, and his wife was in the class, Sister Vicky. And so we made a decision that we were going to do some interracial church visits, which basically meant that the whites were going to make it a point to visit black churches and the blacks are going to visit white churches. And so we went to Grand Avenue to the church, and it's been at this point 15, 16 years. I really don't remember the sermon, but the one thing that has always stuck out to me, other than the choir singing this song saying you ought to run, tell that. But
you ought to run with Frank, yeah.
But the one thing about that sermon that stood out was when Reverend Mason said, people are always, they see you going through some things, and the first thing out their mouth is, well, brother, I'll pray for you. And he said, no, what you need to do is do something to help me and then go pray for me.
There you go.
He was straight to the point, man. Yeah, man. I love Pastor Mason, man.
You know what? If I don't remember anything else about that brother's life, and we interacted a few times after that, but if I don't remember anything else, I remember that particular phrase, and I already said I don't remember nothing else from that sermon. But I remember he said, do something for me, then go pray for me.
Right.
There you go.
And that's the thing.
That ought to be on the t-shirt.
Ronaldo Sidney, not Ronaldo.
Ronaldo Sidney.
I had his name wrong. Who's the dog, by the way? I mean, he was talking about a 5-star. Man, that kid, he's supposed to be the next great to come out of Jackson.
But he came in with an attitude and with not a great work ethic, from what I could tell, just as a fan.
It's a good observation.
Right.
It's a darn good observation.
And the road to fame and fortune is littered with people with a bad attitude and a bad work ethic.
I don't call that sad. I call that being a JSU Tiger.
Boy,
They hate us because they ain't us.
Thank you.
And listen, it ain't a darn thing they can do about it. You can try to beat us.
Yeah, because they've been that way for a minute with us, though. I think
for them MEAC schools that done beat us the past 2 celebration bowls that they ain't been able to do.
But you know, it's like you said, it's to watch the goal line gets moved constantly, right? Because first it was, well, everybody left you. Then it was, well, you got a coach who can't coach. Now it's, well, recruiting doesn't mean anything. It's like every time we check off a box, every time, you know, to hear somebody say, well, you know, all that recruiting, all that doesn't mean anything. Well, you just said he wasn't gonna be able to recruit. I mean, your argument was,
I don't even listen to nobody that say stuff like that.
Exactly. That's why the algorithm has been clean. Right? When you hear that, when I heard him go, well, he won't be able to get in the play. Number 1 HBCU, number 2 FCS. Well, he ain't gonna be able to coach it. I mean, okay, thank you, stupid. Thank you for letting me know you stupid.
You don't know football,
right? And it's again, you realize that, okay, they're not talking with logic, and they're projecting onto you their hopes that what they don't want us to be is to be a mirror for their own discontent.
That's correct.
You know,
all I'm gonna say is that knowing what I've been blessed and privy to know, we're gonna look good the first game, y'all. I'm just telling you, man. I was up at the school, saw some things, man. I'm just trying to tell you, man. We gonna be clean. We back, man. I'm telling you, man. Listen. I am so pumped up, and it's a lot coming down the pipe before the season starts. The track is complete. I'm pretty sure we're gonna drop some footage about that soon. That's great. That's great within itself because that eradicates an eyesore. You know what I mean?
Right.
And then we start moving around. There's a lot of things that's going on under the for all the coaches out there, and I love it, man. I love that we are. The way I look at it is we're down. We're in the home stretch, and we're gonna again. You getting me pumped up easy. Like, man, I'm for real, bro. Like sometimes y'all don't understand, man. Sometimes I be about to bust. That's how I be feeling. Like, man, not so much like I want to say something. It's just that I'm saying to myself, I'm excited about the anticipation of the reaction that I know our fans would have. I look forward to seeing our fans excited because we can't get it from nowhere else. Nobody's being real.
Right.
Don't say nobody. There's a few folks out there that give us real. I mean, like, not insane. Like, I'm gonna say this. I don't care. What was watching Shaq in the Fool? Not Shaq in the Fool. SWAC in the Fool. Shout out to J Macklin. But J Mac, come on, bro. They had a segment where they was talking about what coaches in the SWAC got the most approved, like the top 3.
Right.
Now his first choice was Clarence McKinney from Texas Southern. I said, now that's a good one. Got the most approved. But his number 2 choice was TC Taylor.
Wow.
I said, what?
Wow.
Now I'm just telling you, he got the most. If he don't win right now, and G was trying to help him out. G was like, man, look, he lose. They just say, hey, man, they lost a lot of players. This is his first year, got to transit. Like, every first year coach got to pretty much get a mulligan for the most part. TC don't need a mulligan though, because he got an Irv mulligan. Yeah, I did that. And he got a whole lot of other players to go with that. Now, I'm just telling
we see
you,
what you did there, Ken.
But no, that was like that was one of them things that I said, you know what, I can't listen no more.
Right.
I can't.
But even
it didn't even make football sense. It's like, come on, bro. You're gonna not all these coaches in this conference that you could have mentioned. TC Taylor got the most to prove. No, it's almost like a make it or break it year. You know what I mean?
But when I hear, I again, like you said, it's and even again, I don't watch it. I tell people you don't have to report back to me, but my algorithm is clear. When someone was trying to tell me, well, even so I can't remember who was telling me, but they was like, they were saying over there that if Jackson State win it all again, we're gonna have to check the level of the SWAC. And I said, well, that's hate in itself. I said, because when
haters don't hate,
Alcorn was winning, they weren't trying to check the SWAC. So how is it that if we win it again, they need to check the SWAC, but if they win it, we don't have to check the SWAC?
Good night,
well,
Rochelle.
people are conditioned to just not accept. They're almost like Trump supporters in a sense. You know what I'm saying? It's like you deluded yourself.
The delusion.
Yeah, you deluded yourself into
the
just
delusion
saying,
is bizarre.
Yeah, no matter what.
Can I say something? They wasn't, they wasn't checking the level of the SWAC when Alcorn was winning, because they wasn't checking for the SWAC when Alcorn was winning.
Right.
Very true.
So now that Jackson State is winning, now you checking for the SWAC.
That's perfect.
Mm-hmm. That's on point.
It's a good one. Still got close to 300 in the room. If you'd like to get active, we're still taking donations, man. We're going to start this thing back up Friday. We'll take this thing back on the road again. We have eclipsed the $30,000 mark on our $50,000 goal. And I got a whole tally right here. I ain't making nothing up. I ain't being funny with the numbers like your cheating cousin when you're playing spades. They don't want to or playing dominoes. Don't want to put your score down. No, we're counting for every dollar, man.
And we need 40 subscribers out of you 50 some odd people that are just watching and ain't
45.
subscribed.
Hit that subscribe button, man. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Share the streams. Share the channel. Let's get to 5,000 subscribers. Let's get to 50. Man, look, this is 5 is Pentecost, man. It's a new, you know what I'm saying? It's 5 is significant. You know what I mean? 5,000 subscribers, $50,000. You know what I'm saying? Donation. So maybe I wouldn't care if I got to my 50th or my 5,000 subscribers at the same time we hit that $5,000, that $50,000 goal. That'd be cool.
Excellent goal. So that means it'll happen Friday.
It'd be great. It's simple. I mean, we little right at 20K away. I told you what 20K is. 20K ain't but 200 people. At some point, what we're going to do is when we get down to 10, then that's going to be 10 people. 100 people give $100, and we done. I think that's right.
I tell you what, Ken, I'll make it 199. I'm gonna go on be one of them yet again $100 givers.
Well, no, go right ahead. Whatever you feel moved to do, it don't go to me. It goes to the big pot. And the sooner we get to the big pot.
You ain't even said what it's for, but I got faith in this platform and I got faith in Ken Clark.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that. I won't disappoint you. I
already knew
right now. Yes, indeed, man. And again, shout out to my brother Zoe, man. I know he's dealing with a good bit. Lost his aunt, and that's why he got off earlier. But being a great, you know what I'm saying, cousin and a brother and a confidant, you know what I'm saying, a support system. You know, he showed a lot, mean a lot to this platform, and just it meant a lot to me for him to even come on tonight, which I didn't expect. So definitely praying for my brother, and everything gonna be all right, man. You know what I mean? So that's pretty much it, man. Coach B said the 40 times were posted. How's our team speed? We got we got a couple of 4.3s actually. And I gotta tell you right now, from the numbers that we got, man, one of the fastest players was not somebody that I suspected. Person who had the best time was Andre Hunt, wide receiver.
Always good to find unexpected speed.
I love that. So it was a couple of big time players. You know, Savvy McGee was right up there. And that's just right now. I say this by Coach Beef and his staff and his team. We're doing something, and I hope they don't mind me saying this. Hopefully I don't overspeak, but it's okay. But just to show you, I love the notion that, see, they take pride in developing our student athletes, not just football, because they wear a lot of hats. But the before and after photos, man, I've never seen us build a database of what you look like prior to getting started and saving that. So when you put this work in and you come back later, we're going to measure your body fat. We're going to show you your production. You know what I'm saying? We're going to keep that. So that way, if you come in there, you at this weight, you at this percent of body fat, you at this whatever. And then when you get done, your body fat has gone down, your muscle, your strength has went up, your numbers starting to, and you can see the actual transformation and they're being very intentional about that. That's pretty dope.
They can.
I'll be number 193. Any extra players? Can you send us a couple?
They can.
Yep.
Yeah. And to the panel, see what we're looking at and what you're seeing, you and TD and you guys that are there every day, and with Zoe, you guys are seeing JSU football put to the forefront versus the reality show where we know there are a number of players in the past that said they weren't being developed. They weren't being invested in. JSU this is all about the school. It's about the athlete, the student athlete, the investment in them for what will yield on the field.
Yeah.
So you get and in the military, we call it the buy-in. Now, of course, when you have rank, you don't necessarily have to have buy-in, and there's a time and place for that depending upon the situation. But for the most part, especially when you're in the rear and garrison, you want to get buy-in of your troops in the processes and in the mission and what it is we're to accomplish. So with the coaching staff, Coach TC, Coach O, and just all of the strength and conditioning coaching, just the entire program is like Zoe said, y'all said a while ago, we're about to see the real JSU versus the reality show.
Yeah, I mean, say a lot about that, but you're right.
So I'm looking forward to it, and as always, I appreciate y'all time. I'm gonna go ahead and jump on off and continue to listen.
LB, always a pleasure, brother.
Yes, sir. Likewise.
Appreciate you all.
Yes, indeed. And for me, before I go, like I said, my connection to JSU, of course, I served 22 years in the military, but as a little fella, I was coming down to 166 Lexington to grandmama house. Okay. Yeah. That's where I was spending my summers at.
Lexington Ave.
Yes, sir. So, you know, and it's a vacant lot there now, but like I said, that was the house that I used to come to, you know. And so for me, my grandmama passed 31 May 2005. And what's something about that particular day is that's the day that I actually left central Baghdad, leaving Iraq, the war, and I actually flew and was in Kuwait. So I'm waiting on airlift to leave Kuwait and get back here to the States. And so when I get back here, it's 1 June. And I call, you know, turn my phone on, call my mom and tell her I'm back in the States. She tells me my grandmama passed the day before. So my connection, if you will, is to do her proud. You know, when I know she sees me and she sees my involvement, you know, and it's just like a connection, if you will, of uplifting and just doing my grandmama just proud and what she feels for her grandson, you know, as she watches over me, you know. So there's that connection that I have that way.
That's what's up.
You know.
I appreciate you, brother, for real.
Yes, sir. Yeah. So, all right.
Anytime, bro.
You know it. Thank you. I'm gone.
Sir. All right, man.
I just want to thank you for another great stream, man. I'm like you, been a kind of long week when I'm doing these. Even though I'm retired, I still teach one summer class, so in summer classes every day. But you know, with all the events, but man, I just appreciate the work that y'all put in, you, Zoe, TD, Marcus, man, Rochelle, and I, you know, again, y'all stepped into the void and you know, was willing to I hate to use that phrase, but to be the ram in the bush when we didn't even know we had no bushes. I mean, so you know, it's hard to, you know, see a ram when you don't see no bushes, you know, and the fact that all of y'all stepped in there. Of course, it's always good to see my classmates. So I'm a step off, man. But I just always want to say thank you to y'all, thank you to everybody in the chat. You know, I'm just, you know, we sing it all the time. I'm so glad I went to JSU, and proud of what so many people from Jackson State have done and continue to do. So I'm gonna jump off, man, and you know, I'm gonna be in the chat a little bit longer, but I'm gonna give me some sleep. I got to get up Thursday. I get up every morning and jog at 5, but Thursday I get up and cut the yard. So I'm gonna give me 2-3 hours, and hopefully I keep all the lines straight in the backyard where that's the less light from the flood light that I got in the backyard. But I just want to say thank y'all, man, and I'm gonna jump off here.
Hey, brother Cindy, we appreciate you, man. Good working with you the other morning. Hope we get a chance to do more, man.
I know that, man. It was so much fun seeing you there and seeing you move. Look here, Ken, you got a pro in your hands. I mean, he was hitting.
Oh yeah, he do his thing now.
He was interviewing, and I mean, and look here, and I told him, I said, when I looked and saw what he got, and yeah, you folks when they see Brother TD footage, man, folks gonna be really, really proud and glad he was there. So I appreciate you, Brother TD.
All right, I plan to get better, bro. Thank you.
Have a good night.
All right,
yes, sir. Trent, well, I got your donation, brother. I appreciate that. And
hey, look, when I believe, I believe.
Yes, sir.
So
yes, sir.
Look, I'm gonna do likewise. It's on the other side of 12:30, and I got yet another full day. And you know, not to put my own personal politics in it, but you know, this case that I made reference to is definitely taking up a lot of time at this point. So, yeah. You know, I'm going to go get some rest, and as this case progresses, I will I'll keep us informed without trying to take over the platform.
Yeah. No
And what?
problem, brother.
So, yes, sir.
All right,
So,
brother.
all right. So, love you guys.
Much
All right,
love,
we love
brother.
you too, brother.
Back,
Brother
brother.
Trent. Hey, man, we know you're gonna do well, man. Stay hanging there, man. Support, do your thing. You always come out on top, brother. We
Yes,
in
sir.
All
there.
right. I appreciate that.
Yes, sir.
All right. All right. Y'all have a great night.
Yes,
Good
sir.
night, brother.
Same to you.
Appreciate it. And then there was two,
Then those two, bruh.
about to be one. And then got to get some Z's, man. Been a long work day, bro. Got another long one tomorrow, bro. Gonna get up and have to do it all over again.
All right, man. Do your thing, man. Just hit me up with that Dropbox information so I can proceed. And I go from there, man. I'm working on some things myself, but I'm so serious about what's going on. So we're gonna get it. We're gonna be there.
For sure.
All right, my brother. Well, you have a good night, man.
All right, good night, big bro.
With you again.
Yes, sir.
All right, later.
Back at it on Friday. All right, everybody. Appreciate everybody. Appreciate everybody that donated. If you watched this second stream, sorry for the mess up on the first one. It is what it is. It's all good. Definitely continue to donate. We are, man, we rocking and rolling. We are more than half of the way onto our goal, and I can't wait to get to the other side of that. So if you're looking to mail in any donations, shoot me an email, kc1400mediagroup@gmail. Thank you to everyone that did send a donation via mail. I was able to get that and add that to the count. But if you email me, I can get you the address to send it to, and we can go from there. Other than that, it's been another great show. I appreciate everybody. And as always, DI love. Go Tigers, baby.